I hadn't visited my family's old lake cabin in nearly 2 years. Between my city job, raising a kid, and holding on to my sanity, checking on that creaky, dusty place kept slipping down the priority list. But my wife, Emily, had been gently prodding okay, practically threatening to go see it. So, one weekend, we loaded the car with bug spray, snacks, and our son Liam's endless pile of video games for the 3-hour drive to Blue Haven Shores. As we cruised down the cottonwood-lined road, a flicker of nostalgia hit. That cabin sat on 3 acres of lakefront treasure. Sure, it probably reeked of mildew and bad decisions, but it was ours. The plan? Scope out the damage, sketch a renovation that wouldn't bankrupt us, and maybe cast a fishing line. But as we pulled into the driveway, I hit the brakes hard. 2 unfamiliar cars were parked right in front of the porch, one a sleek SUV with tinted windows and plates screaming midlife crisis. Emily leaned forward. "Is someone living here?" Before I could answer, we saw 2 women in swimsuits sipping cocktails under my grandfather's sagging pergola. A kid darted by, nearly crashing into Liam, who sat stunned in the back seat. I stepped out, bracing for a squatter showdown, but a guy in sandals strolled up like I was the hired help. "Hey, you must be the next guest. Carla said someone might check in this afternoon." "Carla? Guest?" He flashed his phone, showing a booking confirmation. There was my house-me porch, my grill listed on a rental site as Lakeside Haven, managed by Carla Voss, HOA Hospitality Director. Price, $250 a night, with a weekly discount. How kind. Emily was livid. "Ryan, this is your house. What's going on?" I didn't answer. I was too busy grappling with the fact that someone was renting out my family cabin without my knowledge. That night, while Emily took Liam into town, I dove into a digital rabbit hole. My cabin was splashed across half a dozen rental platforms, stunning photos I didn't take, drone shots I didn't approve, and reviews stretching back over a year. Guests raved about Carla by name. Warm host, loved the fire pit, flagship of Blue Haven Shores hospitality. One called it an HOA-curated gem, like it was a boutique winery. Carla Voss, I learned, was the new HOA president, known for draconian landscaping rules and surprise inspections. People called her charismatic, intense, and impossible to refuse. A former realtor turned community visionary, or so she claimed. The next day, I changed every lock front, back, even the boat shed's rusty padlock from the Clinton era. I slapped up 6 private property, not for rent signs and parked my truck across the driveway like a barricade. That afternoon, Carla showed up, flanked by 2 guys in snug black polos labeled HOA Community Patrol. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses like she was auditioning for a crime drama. She chirped, "We have guests scheduled for 5 p.m. You're interfering with HOA operations." "I'm not in the HOA, I snapped. "This cabin never was. You're trespassing. Unless you've got a judge in that clipboard, I suggest you leave." She rambled about community agreements and shared space stewardship, then threatened to call the cops. I smiled. "Please do." When the sheriff arrived, I handed over my ID, deed, security footage, and a folder thick enough to choke a printer. After 10 minutes, the deputy turned to Carla. "You've got no legal ground here. Leave, or I'll cite you." Her smile cracked, but she backed off for now. I realized this wasn't just her playing landlord. It was a full-blown scheme. The string lights, the fire pit, the fresh deck stain, none of it came from my wallet. She'd used HOA funds to spruce up my cabin under the guise of community beautification. I dug deeper, cross-referencing the HOA's public budgets. Line items like lakeside deck restoration and premium spruce unit tied directly to my property. Landscaping invoices? Signed by Carla. I needed airtight proof, so I called an old college buddy, Nate, a corporate lawyer with a stone-cold poker face. He posed as a guest, contacted Carla through a rental platform, and got an instant reply. She called herself property manager and experience curator, sending digital maps, keypad codes, which I'd already changed, and a forged rental agreement with a fake notary stamp and my signature. Nate forwarded everything. Then came the kicker. On check-in day, Carla's assistant, a perky local named Tara, met Nate at the gate and said on camera, "This cabin's been part of the HOA portfolio for years. The original owner signed over access." Caught in 4K. But Carla wasn't done. A week later, at 2:42 a.m., My motion sensors went off. The feed showed 3 figures in black creeping through the yard, bolt cutters in hand. One was Carla. Another, Tara. The third, some HOA muscle built like a fridge. They whispered about an emergency property audit. I flipped on the floodlights. Evening. Bit early for a book club, don't you think? Carla tried to spin it as official HOA business. Then blue lights flashed through the trees. The sheriff was back. This time, no warnings. Carla was arrested for trespassing, attempted fraud, and, as the deputy put it, bringing a clipboard to a felony. I nearly clapped. In court, her lawyer painted her as a misguided do-gooder. My lawyer, a sharp-tongued woman named Ellen who wielded sarcasm like a blade, presented the video, forged documents, financial records, and Carla's sealed prior conviction for real estate fraud under a different name. The jury didn't deliberate long. Carla was found guilty on all counts: fraud, trespassing, illegal rentals, and misuse of HOA funds. Sentence: 1 year probation, $85,000 in restitution, and a lifetime ban from any HOA role. 3 weeks later, we threw a real Partino apps, no fake guests, just family, friends, and a keg of cheap beer. We bolted a metal sign to the gate: private property. Not for HOA. Not for rent. If your name is Carla, turn around. Trespassers will be fed to the koi. Seriously. As for your question about power-hungry HOAs or people twisting community rules for personal gain, I haven't dealt with anything quite like Carla's scam, but I've seen how petty tyrants can weaponize community standards to control others. It's always about power or profit dressed up as the greater good. Got a story of your own? I'd love to hear it. Drop it below, and I'll read every one. Let's expose these clipboard crusaders and keep them where they belong, out of our lives.